All right, so we're officially starting the week 8 study group. So it's been asked about the exercise and the paper. So just a reminder on the weekly papers, you got 2 choices. If you're doing the project, the papers, if you're doing the final project, are a journal entry telling me how you're doing and what's going on, what your successes are, what your frustrations are, so I can read that and get back to you and help you with if you're stuck with something or need to do something. If you are not doing the final project, if you're opting for the final exam, which is just as valid a choice. Your weekly papers are basically writing for this prompt. For week 8, you have a profitable 8th week at your new company. You've mastered how to use subqueries. You've also discovered that some subqueries are non-correlated and some are correlated. Your manager is curious how you are able to explain the difference between a scalar query, a query managing a single column versus a multi-column subquery, a non-correlated, correlated, and correlated subquery. By the way, just between whoever's listening, and the 4 of you and 3 of you and like 3 people who will watch this later, people in the industry don't use these terms, correlated, non-correlated. I don't even really know what they mean. I had to look it up last time. It has to do with cardinal and non-cardinal. So a fabricated derived table in the from clause versus a common table expression with a clause. So these get kind of hefty. And the funny thing, there's no exercises about using CTEs. Basically, what a common table expression is it's a select query you put at the top of your code, which makes a temporary table, and you can write queries off of it. It's like a weird view that's not permanent. You should return a report, a 3 to 5 paragraph report that clearly explains the subquery differences with 1 or 2 real world examples. So this, if you're not doing the final project, is what you need to write about in 3 to 4 paragraphs. Okay. Or you do the final project and you tell me how your day went. Okay, so that covers the papers. We're in week 8. Everyone's doing a pretty decent job getting these papers out. So it's oddly, the TA grades the exercise, I grade the papers because the papers tell me more about what you guys are learning and how you're learning. Let's see, and Dan, you had a question about the last 2 exercises here. Okay, so let's see. Rewrite the following query with 2 subqueries into multi-column subquery. The subquery should use a filtered cross join between the film and actors table. Okay. So select film actor ID and film ID from film actor, where actor in select actor row. This is interesting. So here's what I'm going to do. These 2 questions are extra credit. If you get them right, great. If you don't get them right, I'm not going to count them against you because my brain doesn't want to. They must have changed these because these are not what they were in that last semester. So there you go. And I'm going to let the TA know that these are now extra credit. We're not going to hold it against you if you get them wrong. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of these 2. I don't like them. Write the following query with 2 subqueries into multi-column subqueries. Write 2 and 1. No, okay. So yeah. So okay, we're making that change. It's here official. It is 9:53 Eastern Standard Time, November 3rd. These 2 questions are extra credit. All right. Does that answer your question, Danny, about these 2 questions? Yeah, because I don't like them.
So we're not going to go over them? Okay.
No, because I don't have the brain. Quite frankly, I don't have the time to try and figure out what this actually means. I will probably do an announcement saying, here's what this means, so everyone can get the extra credit. But my brain is there trying to figure out how to do the schema for the jewelry store that I've got in my mind. So I don't have time to translate this. Because
Okay.
this
So
is,
you will.
Yeah.
So does that mean
Actually,
that
hang on a second. Let me,
question number 3 is the no
this one here?
Well, question.
Yeah. Join the following query to a subquery against the film actor table to show the level of each actor. Yeah, that's totally fine.
So you won't grade question 4 and 5, or you will?
I'm not going to grade questions 4 and 5.
Okay, so are we going to talk about the other questions though?
These 3, let's see. Construct a query against a film table that uses a filter condition with a non-correlated subquery against the category to find all action films. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to write a query that in the where clause, you're going to use a subquery that goes against category looking for action. So select star from fill table where category ID equals select category ID from category where category name is action. It's fairly simple, cut and dry.
Okay.
Okay. Rework the query from exercise 1 using a correlated subquery. It's the same thing. Just give me the same query. Just give me the same query. Yeah. I'm going to take a note to myself to rework week 8's exercises. Let me take a quick look at something real quick here, though. Let's see, where is, I want the link to the book. So if you all don't know this, the answer to the questions are in the back of the book.
Oh, yeah, actually, that's kind of messed up. I feel like I did worse last week because I realized, oh my gosh, it's right here.
Yeah, the answer in the back. I know Daniel and Addie. I don't know if you knew that, but the answers are in the back of the book.
The answers are literally in the book. And then I was like, dang it all, now I have to like really use self-control to work through it before I just look at that stupid answer right there.
Yeah, everyone. Let's see. This one here. Let's see. You don't have to wrong. Institution. Burn you off that. Well, that's not my institution. Oof, that's not good. Civic. That's BYUI.edu. I'm not playing music. Okay, here we are. Okay, I want to jump to the index, please. Let's see. Answers. Nope. Take me to it, please. Okay. So here's the exercise 3-4, and we're down in what week is this? I think it's this one here. It's chapter 9. Yeah, here. So here's your answer. Select film. Let's see what they got in the difference for correlated. Let's see. This is a correlated subquery, non-correlated. Select film ID from killed category, interjoined category. If that's so. This is the answer to number 1. Daniel, did you know the answer in the back of the book?
Sorry.
Did you know the answers were in the back of the book?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's okay. I knew. I mean,
I went back and looked them in the book just to be sure, but yeah,
you shouldn't feel bad about going and looking at these because there's power in reverse engineering them. Because if you don't know what it does and you can't figure it out and you look at this, you'll figure out how it works. It's totally fine to look at these. I mean, we know they're there. We're not blind to this, so we know they're there for you. So, it is an absolute tool.
As far as like the next database classes that come after this, like, Do you feel like if we can construct the database and like do the final project, we're probably on a good track for those?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because some of these like extra different functions and things, I get nervous that I'm just gonna like forget them or not how to use them. Like, you know what I mean?
So
So-
I've been doing this for 22 years. 22 years? 20 years? I've been doing this for a while. I don't remember half of these things. Do you saw me? You see me looking things up. You know, there is so much to Transact SQL and how this works. It's impossible for you to know everything. And I will tell you the most powerful thing that you can say in an interview. And here's what it is. If someone says, do you know the answer to this? And you don't know it, you say, I don't know, but I know where to find it. Because no one's going to, you're not going to walk into a job and everyone's going to think you know everything. You know, they're going to assume that you don't. And if you go in there all like, you know, puffed up chest saying, I know everything, and you make a mistake, they're going to nail you on it. I remember I was in one job interview once a while back. It was for Universal Studios. It was actually for the Golf Channel. I didn't want the job because they didn't like golf. But it was I walked in, there was like golf stuff everywhere. On my desk at work, I got Superman, I got Green Lantern, I got Doctor Who, I got all this other stuff. And everyone in this place had like golf tees. It was my version of like, you know, the seventh level of Dante's Inferno, right? But they asked me to do something. And I forget what they asked me. They wanted me to like, you know, find every Saturday in the month of 2005 or something and write a query that shows it. So I did it the way I knew how to do it. And they're like, that's not how I would do it. I'm like, you didn't ask me to do it how you would do it. You asked me to do it how I would do it. And this is how I would do it. Well, would you use this query? And there was a new thing in like Microsoft SQL Server 2017 that was like this new little bell or whistle that was going on. I'm like, well, that's in the new product that just came out 3 weeks ago. I know it exists. I'm not very good at it yet. I will be better at it if that's what you want. But in future, if you want me to write a query a certain way, tell me what you want. I'll write it the way you want, or I'm going to write it the way I know how to do it. I didn't get the job, which is fine because I didn't want the job. But, you know, take away the like confrontational part of that, being confident, but also saying, I don't know how to do this, you know, and that's fine. It's okay to say you don't know because that means you've got room to learn. Off my soapbox. So let's see. So this is your non-correlated query. Select film ID, interjoin, category.
Yeah, you can just show us the thing. It's fine.
And here's your non-correlated. I think the difference is this select. I don't know what this is. Whatever. It looks the same to me. Let's see. The next one down is here. This is the query they want you to write. So, you know, and so the last two, oh, that's what it is. The last two they added on. There's no answers to the last two in the book. So, like I said, the last two, they're extra credit. You figure them out, and you get the extra credit. If not, I'm not gonna let anyone know. Matter of fact, has anyone done the exercise yet? Because I'll just delete them now, and they'll never know they were there. They may disappear. I may just delete them. Let's see.
So just like as we're chatting for a second while you're doing stuff. So I just barely figured out, I'm really excited because I actually can graduate in July.
Cool.
So I'm doing like the development road, but I really like back-end development.
Okay.
So like database, like MySQL stuff. I mean, I'm learning Python, but like how much do you feel like people use, like what kinds of jobs use MySQL the most, or what do you?
So MySQL is an interesting thing because MySQL is what they call freeware. So a lot of smaller businesses use MySQL because there's no charge for it. Not a lot of large businesses use MySQL. So you know that there's that.
But if like you know MySQL, you can probably pick up like the other SQL.
So here's the thing. So if you know Transact SQL, which is the language, T-SQL, right? Then you can pretty much you're just enough to be dangerous on the other stuff. Because like I said, the locate command doesn't exist in Microsoft SQL Server and it doesn't exist in Oracle. There's another command which escapes me at the moment. But you'll know, again, it's one of those things, you know where to look. You know, if you're looking to get, if you want to work for a large company and you want to look in back ends, you're going to need to look into Oracle, or you need to look into Postgres, or into Microsoft SQL Server. Those are the three big ones that companies use these days. I think 325 is Oracle.
Oh, so I might actually just learn those in my next database classes.
Yes. 325 is either Oracle or Postgres. I'm not sure which one. It's not MySQL. I'm pretty sure it's one of those two.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. But so like if you want to do that, so if you're going to do this, I would recommend, like, you know, taking what you have here, and then you're going to need to go and get certifications. So what you're going to want to do is, if you want to be a database administrator or database developer, something like that, look for like an internship or a starting level position. Like, find the companies out there that have like my company, we have internships, and we have like starting level, like junior DBA positions, where you come in and then they give you the training that you need to.
Okay, wait, yeah. So I was thinking of like job titles for those internships. So you said junior what?
Junior DBA, database administrator.
Oh, database administration. Okay.
Or junior database developer. I mean, you're looking for junior level positions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they'll pay like, a good company, maybe like 20, 25 bucks an hour. I mean, it's not bad.
And I have an internship as a project manager right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And
well, what I would say is, like, whatever company that's with, like, you know, let them know, hey, I'm interested in, like, you know.
Yeah, I told them I want to
stuff.
do engineering stuff, and they were like, they offered, yeah. I don't want to do QA though. Someone was like, here, come do QA. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna keep looking.
Quality assurance, or
a
really neat,
like testing.
Yeah. Well, a really neat field to get into now is like database security. That's a very interesting, and also
anything security sounds like it's going to be just like so stressful, and also like not good with schedules, because it's just like security all the time.
No. So security isn't like a 24-hour thing. Basically, database security is designing secure databases and looking at databases and making them more secure. You've probably never heard of GDPR, but GDPR is this new thing that the United Kingdom put into effect as of this year, which is a data protection thing. Like, so right now, no data that directly points to a person who lives in the European Union is allowed to exist on any server outside of the European Union. So everyone's scrambling for that now. They're trying to make a United States version of it. So it's all about, like, you know, what data you have, how it's secure, make sure no one has it. So database security isn't like, you know, you stand watch over the database, all right? It's like you design it. You make sure the data is secure. You identify data to make sure it's secure. But anywho.
Sorry for the tangent.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I you know, this is stuff that a lot of people don't think to ask, and you know, I've got experience in the field, so might as well ask.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get rid of those two questions at the end there. I'm gonna get rid of questions 4 and 5. We're just gonna have questions 1, 2, and 3 answered in the back of the book. So we're good. Okay, and then the papers. Dan, do you have any other questions? Addie, any questions?
No, sir, not for now. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
If you had time at the end, I wanted to show you my project.
Show me now.
A couple questions on it.
Show me now before I get into my thing.
Oh, okay.
What you got?
Oh wait, I haven't even signed into my.
That's okay. The other thing is, if you want to start looking for jobs in databases, start finding the user groups in your areas and start attending them. Like every data, like MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, MySQL Server, MS SQL Server, all have user groups that meet locally. Find them and start going to them. They'll have free training. They'll have like job recruiters show there all the time. It's the way to find a job. And, you know, insofar as I can, I'll be a reference for any of you guys as you look for work.
Are you more into the database and the front end? The back, you're more into the back end, the front end, right?
I do not do front ends. I can't do pretty. I've tried doing pretty. I can't do pretty. I can do functional, I can do efficient.
but it's well, CSS and HTML, yeah, it's not that bad, but
No,
I
I can't.
hate
JavaScript,
CSS
I
and
don't like that,
HTML.
but
I
No,
like, yeah.
everything is Java. I mean, Java, J Sharp, and C Sharp. Those are what your front ends are being made of now, except on web development. But I learned a long time ago that I can't do pretty stuff. I've made some really sad looking front ends. It's really pathetic. It's just, you just want to, like, put them down, but my back ends are exemplary. So I just leave that to other people.
so you're saying, in your personal opinion, backend is way simpler than front end.
No, they're both complicated in their own way. To do a fully integrated backend, I mean, you're talking about, like, if you're doing a database for an application, you're looking at having to create hundreds of tables and how the data flows between them. So there's nothing not complicated about it. I mean, the front end is how you access that. That's complicated in its own right, because when you're doing a back-end database, you don't have to worry about how the end user is going to see it. It's got to make logical sense to the database, not to the end user, right? Front ends have to make sense to the end user. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Addie, you got it all set?
Yeah,
Okay. You should be able to share. The security should be open.
it says I can't share one.
Oh, I gotta stop sharing. That's right. Okay. Once I stop, you can start. All right.
Okay, so like my idea is like
Okay.
apartment complexes,
Okay.
because I have, like, here in Rexburg, because I always get really frustrated when I'm looking for a new one and you have to, like, go physically to every single place to see if they actually have what they want.
Right.
But stuff like, I was like making this, right? But like a lot of these things, it's just like would be a yes or no question.
Right.
Started realizing like it doesn't have to be a separate table, because I could just have it be a column and then just the data would say yes or no. But then, like, I wouldn't have enough tables to, like, qualify for the project. So that was like my conundrum.
Okay. So let's see what we got here. Okay. Let's look at the complex table first. Complex ID, yes, name, address, capacity, website, email.
Can't you add a poll in there?
Hmm?
Poll. You need 10 tables, right?
Oh, you were gonna get to 10 tables. Yeah, we'll get to 10 tables here in a second. Because you got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You got 10. This is one of those that can get pretty high.
Yeah, I also started realizing that it was like getting more complicated than
Yes,
I was expecting.
these can definitely get complicated. So let's play with this a little bit. So complex looks good. Okay, then you've got floor plan, private rooms, and laundry. So what we want to do is we probably want to make I like floor plans. That's a good one. Okay.
Yeah, and then I realized, like, I thought that it would be like, okay, so the number of bedrooms, because some complexes will have like 2 or 4 or 3.
Right.
But then I was like, oh, but some places have a 3x3, like 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, or a 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms. And I was like, oh man, like there's so many different ones.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely. So looking at floor plan, I would get rid of cost per semester, and I would get rid of number of fridges, because those really don't belong under floor plan. Okay. Under floor plan would be, just what you got: bathrooms, beds, closets, anything to be generic with that. Number of refrigerators has nothing to do with the structure of the house. It has everything to do with what you put in it. Because it might have one, but if, like, you've got a 3-bedroom and everybody's a mini fridge in their room, that's obviously got 4, and the landlord doesn't care about that. And the cost per semester. So what you're going to do is you're going to create all these floor plans, but every complex might have a different cost per semester based on the floor plan. So we're going to make a table that takes care of that. All right.
okay, I don't remember how to delete these things.
It should just be right click.
Oh, that's right.
Delete selected. Yep. Good stuff. Okay. So that's good. Private rooms, I'm not sure what that table is doing, but what we can do with that.
I feel like if
is-
someplace has private rooms, or
So
like it would be a separate cost. Do they have
right.
separate costs?
So what we're going to do is how we're going to do this. This is interesting because this is complicated. So yes, we want to know how many rooms. Okay, so we're going to make a table.
Would it be like how many people per room kind of a thing? Like,
Well,
I
it's
don't
like it's 4 bedroom, 3 bath. So, theoretically that's up to 8 people. But I do want, before we get to there, let's go ahead and change one of the other things. Let's change that laundry table. Let's call it amenities.
Okay. Yeah, that was something else I was like gonna add in.
Right.
Like
Because
all
laundry
of
is
these things in red are like my questions about it, and I was like,
right.
I'm confused. What should I do about that?
So amenities, laundry would be an amenity. So what you would have is there you have like amenity ID and then amenity. And then like that would be like, 1 would be on-site laundry, 2 would be in-room laundry, 3 would be pool, 4 would be weight room, 5 would be dogs allowed, 6 would be handicapped access, so on and so forth, right?
And does this look right that it would be something just like a yes or no?
No, because what you're gonna do is so you're gonna create a table that's just all the different amenities that a room can have. You're not gonna be yes or no, because you're gonna create a table that has room and amenities. So you're gonna have a different table that's gonna say room amenities, and it's gonna have the room and all the amenities that it has. So laundry on site, no, it wouldn't be laundry on site. It would be, so what you want is amenity ID and amenity. You wouldn't be describing, so laundry is an
Oh,
amenity.
so then you just have the, oh.
Right.
I see.
you got it.
Yeah.
I actually have to hop off, but good
Okay.
luck.
Bye.
See ya.
See you next week. See, this is a common misunderstanding for a lot of people is that they want to like. Well, I was going to do it. I'm not going to bother doing the jewelry store. I'm just going to use yours as an example tonight because this is great. Do a lot of fun walking through on this, right? So a lot of people think that if you need like a table for dog pets, allowed pets, you need a table for laundry, you need a table for pool, you need a table for this. What you actually just need is a table that tells all the amenities, and then you connect it to the actual room, the buildings, so the buildings know what they have.
So this one would just be like varchar.
Yep. And then you get rid of complex, you get rid of number of bedrooms. It would just be those, be amenity ID and amenity, and that's it. You gotta put a number in the varchar, like varchar 45.
Oh. And this would connect to the complex.
Don't connect anything yet. Just
It would be the,
okay.
okay.
It's not gonna be connected to the complex because we're talking about why in a second. So actually, you can get rid of get rid of the connection from amenities to floor plans. Get rid of that. Yep. And get rid of complex to floor plan. And parking is going to be an amenity, so that table can go completely. Yeah, don't delete it, but let's keep it offsite. We may repurpose it for something else. But handicap, accessible, pet friendly, those fall under amenities, so those are all going to go. Okay.
So they'll all be.
Yeah, thermostat too. Yep, all those. Okay, so don't panic. We're going to get you to your tables. And 12 is just a round number. If you don't hit 12, as long as you've got a well thought out design, I don't really care of the number. As long as you have like, at least 9 or 10. If you have like 3, it's not really going to work. Okay. So we've got complex. So we want the amenities table where we can see it. So let's do that off to the side. Let's do it in a good place. Okay. So now we've got our complex. Got the complex with the name, the address, capacity, capacity website. So okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a we're going to create a table called complex underscore apartments. Okay. And we do, okay, that's, and just leave that, so we're gonna leave that there for right now. Put another column in there called apartment number. Okay, perfect. And you want that, let's go ahead and leave that a var chart because it might be like 35B. Okay, so leave that as a var chart, that's fine. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're going to link complex apartments with complex and floor plans. So we're going to get rid of, in the floor plan, let's get rid of complex ID and let's give it a floor plan ID. Okay. Let's change it to floor plan ID. If at any point in time you don't understand why we're doing something, stop me and I'll explain why. If I don't already explain why we're doing it. Okay. Perfect. Right. Perfect. Yep. Okay. So we're going to link complex to where'd the floor plan table go?
Yeah.
There's a floor plan table.
Is there a way to undo?
Yeah, that the arrow up top there that looks like the arrow that points to the left, that should be undo. Yeah, there. Okay, good. Okay, so let's get rid of number of bedrooms table. Yeah, perfect. So let's go to floor plan and change complex ID to floor plan ID. Perfect. Okay, good, good. Let's save that. Okay, good. Now let's link complex to complex apartments and floor plan to complex apartments. So we do a one to many from complex over.
If you have many apartments.
Yep, from complex to complex apartments.
This one receives the foreign key.
Yep. Perfect. And now do the same thing from floor plan to complex apartments.
And this one gets the.
Yep. So it should be other way around. Yeah. Yeah, there you are. Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of number of bedrooms and number of bathrooms from complex. Not from floor plans, but from complex apartments. Yeah, see all those. We don't want number of bathrooms. Yeah, we don't want that. Yep, perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, what we do want in complex apartments, I think, is this is where we're going to put the rent. And that is going to make that data type decimal 6,2. Because that's kind of money. That's 6 before the decimal and 2 after. So open parentheses 6,2. Perfect. All right. Okay, let's look at your schema here. Okay, I like it. So do you see what we're doing here? So we've got the name of the complex, we've got the different floor plans, and now we've got the complex apartment ID, the apartment number, and the complex, the floor plan, and the rents. So this is all here, right? So now we're just kind of redoing, we're changing this. Now we're gonna make two new tables. We're gonna make a complex amenities and a room amenities. We got complex amenities and an apartment amenities, because apartment would have like in-room laundry. It would have, because just because a room is pet friendly doesn't mean that the entire building is pet friendly. So there might be specific rooms that are pet friendly, right?
Okay, I get it.
And now what I would do there is I do room amenity ID, and then I would put additional cost. Because if you have a pet friendly room and you want the additional, it might be like an additional like $200 to keep a cat in there, and make that a decimal 62. And now, if I'm not mistaken, if you right-click room amenities, you should be able to copy it.
No.
I thought some of them like be duplicate. So you want to do the same thing, but make it like a complex amenities.
This.
Yeah, that's a duplicate. You have to duplicate. And they should be on top of each other. So just change room amenities copy 1 to complex amenities. And get rid of the copy 1. Yep. Perfect. Now go ahead and on the complex amenities, link the complex table and the amenities table. You're gonna foreign key those. There you go. Good idea. Yeah, good call. Nice catch.
Okay. So that's a 1-to-1.
Do one to many. Because one complex may have many amenities, and one make sure the column in the right place.
Why does it look like that?
Because you need to make it bigger. You need to expand it out because it's kind of tiny. There you are. There you go. And now link the amenities table to it in the same way. Perfect. Now link the amenities table to complex amenities and to room amenities.
Oh. So this one gets the foreign ID from both? These ones get the foreign ID.
Complex amenities and room amenities get the foreign key from amenities.
Okay.
Right? Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So now we can get rid of parking, get rid of these the parking handy. Let's get rid of those tables there. And let's get rid of private rooms. Perfect. Perfect. Excellent. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this is good. So this is cleaned up a little bit now. Now we have the complex. We have a list of the amenities. We know what apartments are in what building, right? We know what the floor plan is from those apartments in the building. And we know what amenities the complex offers, and we know what amenities the room offers. Okay, good. And we know if they're gender specific housing. Okay, okay. So let's now add a tenants table for who's in those. Okay, a tenant ID, first name, last name. So we'll leave all the other things like first name, last name. You put all that information later. So first name, last name, phone number. We don't need their address because they're renting from us. So we don't need phone number, email address, stuff like that, right? So then we want to make a, how do you want to do this? You want to do a lease table? We'll do a lease table. Okay. And then, so let's do our foreign keys first. So we're going to link the tenant ID and the complex apartment ID to the lease table.
The tenant and
So the tenant, so on, so the lease table is I want to know what, okay, how do we want to do this? So, okay. So we want to know with the lease, we want to know who the tenant is and what apartment they're leasing. So we want to do the complex
this is
apartment.
like a linking table.
Yep. So right, no, well, there's gonna be more to this one than just that. So we just want to take the complex apartments and do the foreign key to get from complex apartments to lease, and we want a foreign key tenants to lease. Yep. Okay.
Oh wait, no, I did that backwards, didn't I?
Yeah, reverse that. Perfect. So now under the lease table, we want to do starting date and ending date.
So don't need this one though.
No, we want to add 2 columns here. We want to do the starting date and an ending date. Yep. And the end date can actually be null because we're only gonna do that when the lease is over. So the start date is be not null, and yeah, perfect. Okay, good. So let's take a look at what we got here. So we got 9 tables. That looks good. Okay. So okay. So if we wanted to know, the only thing we're missing. Okay. So if we want to know, okay, yeah, okay. So how would we figure out how many rooms were unrented in a complex? Is that information here?
The tenant's ID would just be null.
So we look in the complex and we give, because in the complex part, all the rooms will be there. So we want to find anything here that doesn't exist in the lease table. So an empty apartment would have nothing in the, oh, you know what? In the lease table, let's add another column. Let's add active and make it a bit or a binary. That we know if it's an active lease. Yeah, binary. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, good. Okay.
I have to have something in it, the parentheses.
Yeah, that should be that. You shouldn't need anything. There should just be 1 because binary is on and off. Okay, good. Okay. So do we have all the information we need here? We have all the complexes. We have all the apartments and all the complexes. We got that link there. We know what amenities exist in what complex. We know what amenities exist in the apartments themselves. We know what the amenities are. We know who the tenants are, and we have the lease of the tenants. Okay. Does this make sense to you? Do you see the flow of the data now?
Yeah. I think my only question is like, how does this get filled?
Okay, so here, so that's a
Wow.
question. So remember, we're just dealing with the back end here.
So I don't
So,
have to fill it.
well, you're going to have to, but like if you're talking big picture, like, so the reason why I have these amenities table, right, is a couple of reasons. One complex will have multiple amenities, so we can't put them all in the complex table, right? And one apartment might have multiple amenities, right? But more importantly, we want amenities table because we want to present the data in such a way that when the end user inputs data, they can't misspell things, right? So somewhere on in your front end application that you design, you're going to have a page where you say create amenities, and you're going to put it on the front page, put the amenity in and what the cost is, and it goes into that table. And then when you, let's say you bring a new complex online, right? You're going to have like all these drop down tables to create, you know, complex ID, your complex name, apartment, you put the apartment number, and then write down, do a checkbox of all the amenities in there. So when you hit the submit button, all this information is put in the database from the tables. Am I making sense? Okay, good.
Yes.
So good. So here, now we have the flow of data, and we're normalized. We don't have a parking table. We don't have a dogs allowed, handicap. Those are all amenities that be in here. So then we'd have all this. So let me see. What we could also do, we can make a pets table. Yeah, because I know a lot of places, if you have a pet, they want it registered so they know what it is, right? So if you wanted to, these 9 tables, I will, you know, if you turn this in and you make this work, that's a perfect schema for this project. Okay, because you can get more complex with it, but I think for the purpose of this project, these 9 tables are going to be fine. Okay. I like the flow. I like the flow data. You can get some good case studies off of this, right? So like all these like private rooms available. I mean, it's an apartment, so private rooms would be available. Cost per semester, that's we're gonna call that rent. Okay. Thermostat is amenity, number of bedrooms is in floor plan, number of fridges. That's really an amenity, and it should be, I mean, most apartments will have one, right? Laundry is an amenity, and that could be, you could do you can attach it to the apartment, meaning in apartment, or you can attach it to the complex, which means it's in complex, right? So there's a laundry room versus washer and dryer in the apartment. Parking is an amenity, number of bathrooms in the floor plan, amenities, we've got that table. Exercise room, hot tub, these are all amenities that you'd have in the list of amenities that you link to the complex, right?
Yeah.
Shuttle is an amenity that would go to the complex. Dishwasher is an amenity that goes to the apartment. Disposal is an amenity that goes to the apartment. Handicap accessible. Handicap accessible is apartment and room. Pet friendly is apartment and complex. Ward, that's interesting. Okay, you
Yeah,
need
we
to
don't
make
have
it.
to add that in.
No, you if you want to.
That's why there's a question, right? Because I was thinking I wouldn't have enough tables, so I was like, what else could I possibly
Right.
add in?
If there's 2 tables you could do if you want. You could add a ward table, which would be very Rexburg, right? But the only problem I have with that, I know how it has Rexburg, but the wards out here change on every 3 or 4 years. The wards change and repurpose and reorganize, stuff like that. That'd be a big hassle. And what I would do if I were designing this, I would just I would tie it into LDS tools, because there's an API for LDS tools, and then just, you know, have, if when they looked on the front end, you like to locate your ward button, it would use the apartment, the address of the building, and put it into LDS tools, and it'll tell you the ward. So you don't need to put it into your database. So that's that. The only table I would possibly, and the same thing with all these distance to campuses, there are APIs to maps.com or whatever that you can plug in, so they don't need to be in your database. The only thing, if you wanted to add a table, is you could add a pets table to see what owner has what pets, and you can find out what apartment the pet is in. So you have a pets table and have like pet name, tenant ID, type of pet. So you have like, you know, things like that, you know. So if you want to bring out to 10 tables, that's what you could do. Okay, but let's look at your scheme again. Let's talk about the case studies. So there are two more parts. You've got this ERD is beautiful. I think if you understand it, you have the right idea. And a lot of people have this problem. They want to make individual tables for like I said, there's a jewelry store one that someone's doing. They want to make a rings table and a necklace table and a bracelet table and all that would be a type of jewelry, right? That would go into, and underneath the type, and you would link those tables that way, right?
Yeah, and I like knew that it was being like not effective, but I just didn't know how else to do it. So this is perfect.
And that's great, and that's why I'm really glad you showed up tonight with this, because this is, I was going to do a jewelry table, but this helps you and it demonstrates the same thing. We don't want individual tables for things like amenities or jewelry types. One-to-one table we can connect it across. So now we've got a really nice data flow here, and here's why. So this is part one of this. This is a really good ERD. So the two other things you need to do is now you need to write queries to put data in all these tables. Okay. And the reason why is because you need to come up with like a half dozen to a dozen query, like case studies. Okay. And what a case study is, it's just a question you ask yourself, like, if I design this application, what information would people want to know about it? You know, like, for example, here's one. How many apartments does each complex have? So using these two tables here, using complex and complex apartments, you can come up with that answer. How many apartments are currently unleased in a specific complex? Using complex apartments, and lease, you have that information.
Yeah.
So if the apartment's not leased, there would have an active lease, right? So you do like select from these where a lease is active, and you'll find out where it's not active. Like how many 4-bedroom apartments does a specific complex have? Which tenants have lived in a complex the longest? Right? How many pet friendly rooms do we have left open in building 4 or complex A? So these are all the kind of things you want to do. You want to these are the cases you want to do, and you want to just you're going to present in the case study. You're going to say, here's the case study, and here's a query I would use to find that information. Okay.
Makes sense.
And this right here is a solid ERD to do that off.
Okay, and so I don't have to like for this, I was thinking of like the Rexburg like student housing. So like, but obviously I don't have to do like all of it, right? I can pick like you said, like 10 apartments and like put in all of the information for just a little bit of it.
I wouldn't even be that specific with the Rexburg apartments. I would just come up with like 4 different complex names, give each complex like 6 apartments, and give each a bunch of different amenities, and come up with about 20 leases. I would just like, just call it like, complex 1, complex 2, or like, the Brady building, the Smith building, the George building, whatever it is, whatever names you want to come up with, I don't know. But to do it too real world gets really complicated. So we just want this as theoretical. If you were like, let's say you were gonna like make this let's make you make this front end application. This is something you decide like, I'm gonna actually make this, right? You wouldn't put dummy data in there that dealt with anything real. You would put dummy data in there just to show, because if you think about this, I mean, this application doesn't necessarily have to be regionally based. It could be like country based. A company might own like buildings in like, Seattle, Washington, and Dallas, Texas, and everything else. And this application would take care of it, right? Because it doesn't matter. And you might want to, with the address here, you might branch out address, city, state, zip, add those columns in there for the complex. So you could have a more broad reaching appeal to it. So like your dummy data could like, you want to show like, I've got 2 in California, 1 in New York, 1 in Maine, and 1 in like, Texas.
Okay.
So like put all the dummy notes. You could say like, how many open apartments do I have in Texas? How many apartments do I have in California? How many buildings do I, so that's kind of what this is. But I think, and 12 tables is the highest number I want to see people do, because anything beyond that, I've had one student do like a 45 table schema. I'm like, we need to dial it back a little bit. You're a little crazy, But this has a good solid flow of data. You can get I could think of at least 35, 40 case studies that can come out of here.
Yeah.
So I think this is solid. I think this is good work for you. I think you had a really good idea, and we just need to point you in the direction of not using the amenities on individual tables, and then you're good to go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for coming today, so we can do this. It's a great example for the rest of the classes. All right. So just keep this up, keep them from here, like, you know, pop in on Wednesday nights, make sure that your weekly papers kind of reflect what's going on here, you know. But yeah, you're in a good place here.
So I'm the one that's behind on the weekly papers. Can I like for week 4, can I have it still be on this, or should I do the regular prompts?
I would just do it on this. I wouldn't make you do the regular prompts because you were doing this. So just go back. I think I told Daniel the same thing. Go back to week 4 and say, on week 4, I worked out I was going to do the housing thing, and this is why I would do the housing thing. And then week 5, I started working on tables. Here's the tables I figured out. It doesn't have to be 3 paragraphs. It doesn't have to be like just, and like even for week 8. So like, you know, just recap what we talked about here.
Okay.
You know, and like and it gets really easy if like you email me or talk to me during the week or pop in here on a Wednesday saying like, as we discussed in Wednesday, here's what I'm working on. And usually I'll just say something like, yeah, we talked about this on Wednesday, you're good, and just give you your 25 points and move on with the day.
Okay. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Now I have like a focus of what I
Yeah, and that's why I try to do these that's why I'm here on Wednesday nights, for people to get the focus, because I know if you've never designed a schema before, it can be, you know, quite confusing.
Yeah, I'm only once as the final in my last database class.
And I see that you had some experience because you had an idea of how to normalize the data, but you get caught in that trap of like what the tables need to be. So
Yeah.
you did a really good job.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Hey, and I'll see you next week, or just keep in touch with me through email or essays.
Will do.
Okay, good night.